Hi, my name is Tanya England. I currently live in Mableton, Georgia, which is a part of Cobb County, and I teach at Nesbitt Elementary, which is a part of Gwinnett County. This marks my 23rd year as an educator, 11 of which I have spent teaching K through 5th grade science/STEM specials. My goal in this course and the master's program is to be a better media and technology teacher so that I can teach my kids accordingly and also branch out and help the other teachers at my school. As I watched the TED Talk with Sir Ken Robinson, a couple things stood out to me. The first thing was that we both agree on the No Child Left Behind. It is a great idea. Yes, we want all children to be successful, but in reality, we have children that are falling through the cracks. We have children that are dropping out of school in high school. And he brings up the point that kids are naturally diverse, they are curious, and they're creative. And in order for them to be successful, we as educators need to tap into those three things. And a perfect example from my own teaching experience was a young boy named Angel who was in first grade at the time. And his class came to me. They were working on algorithms, and he was flying through the lessons. And so I pulled him aside and said, I want you to try his third grade activity. And I showed him the program, and I gave him a book. Now, I knew the book was above his grade level, but it did have diagrams that showed possible codes that you could use in your program, and I just let him go. After the class was over with, he was finished, he had created his own video game all by himself. And so the teacher came to pick up the kids, and I said, hey, has Angel been tested for gifted? And the teacher looked at me very confused. And she was like, that Angel? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, he doesn't do work for me. He never finishes his work. He's always off task, and he's always talking. And I realized here was the same child who was engaged in my class and unengaged in his homeroom teacher's class. And so I pulled the teacher aside, and we had a conversation about what I saw and how she could potentially tap into that with coding in her classroom, either as a motivator for him to finish his work, or he writes a story and he could code it in animation and see where we go from there. The other thing that came to mind was Sir Robinson's comment about standardized tests. Over the last 23 years, or 22 years rather, I've noticed that everything has been geared towards teaching to the test. And what we fail to realize or remember sometimes is that standardized test is a tool to success. It is not the success itself. And a good example of that is for me, in May, I was diagnosed with diabetes. And so I've had to make a lot of changes, medication, exercise, diet, the whole thing. And I have a retest for my A1C in about 2 weeks. And I have to remind myself, my goal is not to get the better A1C result. My goal is to have a healthier lifestyle so the next 20, 30, 40 years, I don't have to worry about losing organs or a foot or my eyes or what have you. So we've got to remember, the standardized tests are a tool. They're not the success itself. So I noticed an overarching theme in our reading selections, which can be best summarized by John Dewey's statement that education should prepare learners to function in work, in citizenship, and life in a free society. And that's especially important in today's world where we live in a digital culture and we've got information coming from all sides. If you just think about the political situation that we're having, the racial situation that we're having, the COVID situation that we're having, we've got information from experts coming in. We've got information from people who think they're experts, and then we have people who just have opinions that they want to share. And just like gossip in the workplace, some of this stuff catches on like wildfire. And so as responsible adults, we need to learn to be able to analyze this information, figure out, okay, what do we listen to? What do we ignore? And that's a skill that you have to learn, and that's what we need to teach our children. And so how do we do that? Well, that's the part that I've learned from reading. Now, I already do the engineering design process in my classroom, and that goes through some of the components that I noticed in the guided inquiry and the research. The part I think my lessons in school are missing is the research part. I have students for a week per month, and so it forced us to kind of have a shortened unit. But I think what I might be doing once I learn more about this process is make it a 2-month unit where the first week we do our research. And then the second week they come back the next month, we pull that research in and continue with the engineering design process, which kind of overlaps the inquiry. and they create their activity, they present it, they evaluate it, and so forth.